Welcome to the Cleaning with Chemistry podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Fantuzzo, Assistant Professor of Chemistry at Roberts Wesleyan College. On today's episode, we are answering the question, vinegar and baking soda, magic or myth? With me, as always, is my co-host, Joe Fantuzzo. Joe, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Courtney. Last week, we were having a conversation. Obviously, we are married. We have an oven that needs some cleaning, and I was going to use baking soda and vinegar to clean it. I've seen that is the way to go, and you were telling me that it might not be the best method of cleaning the oven. So I'm hard-headed. I decided I was going to do it anyways and prove the internet right. And you were explaining to me that there may be better methods. So why do people think that baking soda and vinegar are the best form of cleaning, and why may it not be?
Sure. Well, vinegar and baking soda, people tend to think can deodorize, can take care of different cleaning of different grease stains and things like that. But I feel that when you have vinegar and baking soda and you're mixing that together, you technically have sodium bicarbonate and you have acetic acid that you're bringing together, and you're forming sodium acetate, which is a salt, and you're forming water, which we all are familiar with water, and carbon dioxide, right? So there's your gas right there that you're forming. But really, when you think about just forming a salt and water, it doesn't seem like that's going to give you the best cleaning power that you need.
So, okay, so then what is the actual advantage of using it? Is it bubbles that are cleaning things, right? Everybody sees all these bubbles form in the reaction, and it seems like bubbles. We associate bubbles with cleaning.
Right.
Is that
right?
Is
well,
that what it is?
We've all seen the kids' science experiment with the volcano, right? And there's those carbon dioxide bubbles that are released. So really, it's got to be more of those bubbles that are just helping to release some of the dirt or the grease or whatever from the oven that you were trying to clean, and you were also scrubbing, right? Using that power.
As you know, maybe the listeners don't know, but as you know, I'm extremely handsome and good looking and buff. Okay, that's enough of you. That's probably what the actual real cleaning was. Is that what you were saying? The mechanical action of scrubbing?
Many people will take those two compounds separately and take baking soda and sprinkle it on the oven and take like a scouring pad and really, and that can work also. I think just from that scrubbing action, that could also work, and that's even using it without the.
So would there be a benefit to me mixing other chemicals or cleaning solutions with baking soda and vinegar? Would that be something that could be beneficial, or might that be dangerous in a way?
We don't want to just randomly start mixing things together. We've all heard that you don't want to mix ammonia with bleach when you're doing your laundry because you can form potentially poisonous gases, right? So we don't want to just start doing those types of things. But vinegar itself can be a really good, just kind of natural cleaner to wipe down your counters and deodorize and keep things fresh. And baking soda can be used, like I said earlier, to help scrub out certain stains or spills on the carpet to kind of soak up and dry out and then kind of remove that. So separately, they can be also used. And then, if you want to put those two together, that's fine. If you want to use the bubble action to help clean.
So what about for cleaning other metals, right? So, we're talking about cleaning maybe an oven, the glass in the front or the bottom. Vinegar, I've heard, cleans copper well. What about other metals? If I put it on steel or if I put it on aluminum, is that going to do anything to it? Or what about like a cast iron pan? If I put vinegar in there and it's got a little bit of rust on it, is that going to take rust away? Or what would that do?
Okay, so vinegar can be really helpful for getting metals clean if we do have some of those copper pans that were very popular back in the day. And also for coins. If you have really dirty coins, you may have seen people put like pennies in vinegar with some salt. That can be helpful in cleaning in that type of way.
What's happening with the vinegar and the metal? Like, why does it work so well on copper and it might not work so well on something else? Is it a mechanical thing, or is it an actual chemical reaction? So that would be a chemical reaction.
That's taking when you're adding the salt, and it will lower the pH, and it will make it more acidic, and that will help to remove some of those things that are stuck to the metals or the coins, if we're thinking about that for sure. That can be really helpful. That's something that vinegar can be helpful for. So vinegar is really good that you can help to use that when you're cleaning metals. And if you're soaking it in vinegar, then afterward you'll want to rinse it with water and baking soda if you mix that together, and then that way that will neutralize it, because you want to remember that whenever you're using vinegar, that's acidic. So afterwards you could use something basic with the baking soda and water mixture to rinse that off and neutralize it.
So it seems like in certain situations, maybe the bubbles of the reaction may help in one situation, but in another situation, it's actually more of a chemical reaction, like actually eating away the oxidation, like on a penny or on a pan or something like that. So it kind of does, maybe everybody thinks that it's such a good cleaning agent or whatever, but it's actually doing different things in different situations.
Because if you think about adding the vinegar, which we said was acidic, to the baking soda, which we said was basic, that's just a neutralization reaction.
So what about something like oil? Like if I have an oil stain in my garage, can I take baking soda and vinegar and dump it on there and clean it off that way as well?
See, that's where I find that wouldn't be effective, because if you're mostly making water from a neutralization reaction, your water and your oil are not going to mix. You want something that would be similar in chemical properties to your oil, because like dissolves like, right? So that you would want to get rid of that with something else that was oily, had those properties.
So maybe like a dish soap or something like that might be more effective.
Yes.
Maybe going back on what the chemical or what the reaction would be good to clean. As you could hear in the background, we have a dog, and let's just say, and several children. So let's just say that we have a situation. The dog wanted to go outside. The kids were on their phone. They didn't let the dog out. The dog goes on the carpet or the dog goes on the couch. I want to clean up a urine stain now. Is baking soda and vinegar going to be something that's effective to clean that? Is it better to do like one or the other? What would you do there?
In my opinion, like I said before, if you're mixing the two together, you're really just forming these bubbles, water, the salt, right? If you're trying to take care of dog urine or even other spills like on the carpet, generally like juice, like grape juice, spilled grape juice, I have found that the baking soda, by just sprinkling the straight baking soda to that's basic. That's neutralizing anything that's acidic now that was in the stain. That can be an effective cleaner. And you let that sit, and then you can wipe that up, vacuum that up. That I would say that to lean towards that rather than thinking of mixing the two together beforehand. Because then, again, just making this deodorizer, water, bubbly.
So, you're obviously a chemist and I'm not. And I feel like it's best to throw every chemical that we have in the house at something, mix it together. But it sounds like that's not necessarily the best case. More isn't always better in this kind of a situation.
We want to be careful in what you're doing. You don't want to just...
Am I going to burn our house down?
You don't want to just start mixing random chemicals and items together. We've all heard about, when we're doing the laundry, not to mix bleach with ammonia. Some people have ammonia for cleaning floors, cleaning carpets around the house. So we want to be careful. We don't want to just start mixing things together. We do know that vinegar and baking soda are okay.
It seems like some of the marketing on laundry detergent, it's like with baking soda, or what is the point? Why are they pushing that as a benefit? Like, should I just add more to all of my products? Again, I'm the dope, and I think that adding more is always better. Does that work, or does that not do anything? What is it supposed to do?
I know the detergent that we use the Arm & Hammer one, right? And it looks like, baking soda. And the detergent that you use for your clothes is different than like your hand soap or your shampoo, because that's going to be pH balanced, and that's going to be closer to 7, right? Neutral. But your laundry detergent is going to be more basic and in general. So that's why we kind of think of it like on the same line as baking soda, as a similar... Everything in my mind, it all comes down to acidity, pH, what you're trying to do.
I think a lot of folks are going to find the conversation eye-opening. I know that I did. I appreciate all of your insight and your expertise on it. What are we going to talk about next week?
Next week, we're going to continue talking about this type of thing, but we're going to talk more about combining household chemicals to find out specifically which ones are safe and which ones are potentially lethal. So don't miss what's coming up next week. Remember to leave a review in your podcast app and subscribe for more clean chemistry content. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.